Good morning, everybody. As I would say, happy Sabbath. Okay, we are here for another installment of the FinOp Virtual Town Hall, where we are focusing on the community and making our health our greatest asset. And as usual, I can't do this by myself. I am joined by wonderful panelists. So I'm not going to delay the process and keep talking. We're going to start bringing them on. We're going to allow them to introduce themselves. But as you all know, first of all, I have one request, and that is like and share the show. If you're on the YouTube side, or go on the YouTube side, because I need subscribers, Saint. And I ask you to hit the subscribe button so that every time we're live, you are notified. We do a Let's Talk Finance, we do our virtual town halls, we do our one-on-ones, and then we're going to be doing even more, especially looking into 2021. So please, please, please like and share the show. Go to YouTube, subscribe, so that you know when we are doing our thing. Is that all right? I think it's all right. Y'all listen, they brought my panelists in, so I can't keep talking, right? You know that Find Out, we are about a holistic approach to everything. And we've taken a holistic approach to looking at our health. And one of, the four elements, I'm sorry, that we look at or assess behaviorally is spiritual, physical, social, and intellectual, right? So then we have a representative from each of those elements. And as usual, we have our in-house mental health specialist. So that, good morning, Nakia, so that we are making sure we keeping this right and staying focused. So we do have our spiritual guest that will be joining us hopefully shortly. But until then, let's talk to those that we have. We're going to go around the room. Listen, Marielle, you are to my right. So go ahead and introduce yourself, and then we're going to go around the room.
Awesome. So thank you for having me. My name is Maria Landrum, aka Miss Let's Go. I am your lifestyle coach. I'm committed to helping each individual become the best version of themselves, focus on the mind, body, and soul. Also have a fragrance line that me and my husband just launched. So I have a lot of exciting things going on, and excited to share my wisdom and my story with you guys, and my passion for health and wellness, because like she said, a holistic approach definitely is what helped save my life from Crohn's disease. So
oh yay, J Ross TV, he is representing our social aspect. Y'all wonder how he got on this panel of geniuses with his genius.
Well, I like to know myself how I got on here with a bunch of women, but it's all good. Hey, Daph, what's going on? Hey, my name is James Ross. I'm the founder of J Ross TV, media service. We film concerts all over the country for Google, and I don't even know why I'm here. What I try to do is encourage people to just follow their dreams, man. No matter what, even when you first kick in, to just use your mind to supersede that and just go for what you know. Don't leave anything in the bag. So at the end of your life, you don't have to say I woulda, coulda, shoulda. You just do what you do regardless. Mm-hmm. That's that.
Listen, I like that. Look, I have my I'm not gonna embarrass her like any other person, like parent or auntie or whatever would, because I'm not her aunt, but this is my good friend. I am honored to have Miss Joy L. Woody, our resident nurse. Look, Joy, who are you? What do you do?
I'll preface everything in saying I'm in no way an expert on any of this stuff, but I'm just a nurse. I work at SLU. I'm the charge nurse over a transplant and cardiac ICU.
Yes,
and that's what I do.
And you do it well. I feel like I lost Casey for a second, but we're going to go ahead and listen. The pastor is in the house, everybody. And they said, I want everybody to stand on their feet and give a big round of applause.
Cut it out. Cut it out right now.
Yeah, I grew up with Daphne. screw up with Pastor Daphne Rice Bruce. And listen, you a big deal, child. Don't diminish it because the Lord has done great things.
He's
So
faithful.
please introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
So I typed in my thing, my name, Daphne. I typed that in there just like I wanted it to be. But my name is Daphne Rice Bruce, and I'm the senior pastor of Victory Christian Outreach Church.
Yeah.
And every day I try my best to be a help, to be a bridge, to help somebody who is, oh Lord, hold on. To help someone who, just feels lost and just feels like there's just no hope, and to go after the people that people ignore, the people that, have had their backs turned, have had people turn their backs on them because of their choices or their lifestyles, and trying to be one that is a safe place for people who are truly broken and need restorations. What my life is, what I do.
I, so first of all, thank you for joining me. And finally, second of all, last but not least, Casey. Casey is our mental health specialist on the panel. But Casey, I couldn't introduce you better than you can introduce yourself. Let us know who you are.
Hi, everybody. I am a licensed professional counselor, and I work with children, with families, with adults, specifically with entrepreneurs, and really thinking about how do we take care of ourselves and be the best person that we can be to take care of our mental health while achieving our goals. I am also a co-founder of an organization called Colorful Psycho Ed, and we are three Black women bringing mental health content to the world. Something that is relatable, something that is destigmatized, something that is really just good content and that you can use in life to that's happy to be here.
Well, we are happy to have you. As usual, since we are the Brady Bunch, you all, I know that there are going to be some type of technical difficulties. We have different people coming with different connections, but bear with us. Hopefully, again, you can hear us clearly and we gain some type of insight. We gain some type of insight today. Look, y'all, listen, pray for us. So let's get started. As my cousin would say, the devil is a lie. Let's get started. Again, don't forget, please like and share the show. Like and share the show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe so that every time we're live, FinOp Consulting Group. We are here to give the financial literacy and education away to our community. So let's get started. Let's jump in. We're talking about health being our greatest asset. And one of the stigmas on African Americans or brown people of color, I would say, but especially I would say African Americans in particular, is that overall we're not healthy. When the pandemic came through, we were the community that seemed to be targeted as if it was something that really only bothered us. I would go off into other areas where there weren't as many people of color, and they wouldn't wear masks or anything. And I was talking to my god sister, and she made a great point, and that was because they don't feel that it applies to them right now, because the stigma was that it was killing us. Is that a true statement? Is that especially, let's talk to our nurse, probably starting off to get the conversation rolling, but we want to hear from our other experts because we know you all deal with us intimately, whether it's on a counseling basis, whether it is on for physical health, whether it is our mental health. But what is that? Is it true that we tend to not have the best health Can you answer that for us? Are there any facts related to that, Joy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the statistics, but just from what I see, of course, we don't take care of ourselves. You know, even I grew up in a household where I just went to the doctor as, you know, if we really, really needed it, something was falling off, you know, it wasn't routine. It wasn't
Yeah.
until I, you know, became a nurse and really understood the importance of seeing a physician, you know, once a year for that routine checkup or anything that I actually started doing it and then enforcing that with my husband and child. But the majority of us, we don't do that. I mean, of course, we know there's a general mistrust of the medical community, and we don't want anybody experimenting on us, you know. But I think it's important, you know, because we out here dying. You know, I can't even tell you how many people I've seen, you know, that have had that stroke or they're in kidney failure now because of their high blood pressure and they haven't seen a doctor for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? It is so common and people, you know, want to just go with the natural things to do. Well, to you can't be in the hospital and you 500 pounds and think that the doctor is just going to give you some fish oil, you know, and tell you to exercise. You probably need some more medicine, and it's already been established that you may have some level of non-compliance. But at any rate, yes, we are the ones that are suffering. I see it on both sides. A lot of it has to do with socioeconomic. A lot of it has to do with education, you know, because I'll see that with, you know, the white folks as well. But we're the ones that suffering the more. We are the ones that routinely don't eat well, don't exercise, don't don't see a doctor, you know, don't believe in that. And I'll even go further to say church people are the worst, you know, because we don't claim it. And I've seen people in there literally trying to pray the dead back to life, you know, and at that point it's too late. So I try to educate, you know, that's why I really do like working where I do, the patient population. And usually by the time they see my face, they're like, okay, sis, you know, I'm gonna take my medicine, you know, 'cause I'm like, do you want to have that catastrophic stroke? You know, do you want to be 35 years old and in a nursing home because you can't turn yourself, you know? So I don't know what the
It's
statistics are, but from what I see, that's the
it's
case.
funny, Joy. It's funny that you say church people are the worst, and I really do want to ask Daphne. So Joy knows we grew up at Faith United. And at Faith United, we really, well, I know my dad did in particular, we follow Deuteronomy as far as our diet. Like we grew up not eating pork, anything that didn't chew the, what is it? It has to chew the cud, but and split the hoof. We grew up not eating shrimp, not eating, you know, lobster, the things I love, pray for me, saying, not eating all of that. Why is it, Pastor? Why is it Daphne? Oh, okay, she told me to call her Daphne now. Why? Why is it, Daphne, that the church pick and choose what what standards of the Bible to make the rule? Like, why isn't that? Why aren't all Christians not eating pork and not eating shrimp and these things that we know are full of cholesterol? The way that the Bible has told us to eat it, the way that still the Jews still have it kosher, where the priest has to bless it. Why aren't we talking about that in church? And there's so many obese people in church up here.
This is true. You know what? I think it's such a huge conundrum of issues that's all wrapped up in one big ball almost. They're all so interconnected. I believe that there was a lot more the focus on really following the word of God when we grew up is totally different than what it is now. And
Mhm.
because we live in a day where we pull out what we want, we create it to be what we need for the moment versus taking it by face value. And then in addition to that, well, that would be the reason why I believe that people just, it's convenient. You take what you want that works for you. Anything that make you have to do better, be more focused, be intentional, change your lifestyle. Any of that is just way too much. It's just asking too much. And not just people of color, but all of us have an issue with making those intentional changes consistently. And consistency is our problem. We'll start off good, but then it boils down to it being socioeconomic, as Joy was saying a minute ago. Because if you go to the Whole Food store to go get some apples, those apples are going to be $6.75. You go to Aldi's to get some apples, they're going to be $1.99. And when you're trying to, and you're especially right now living in this economic life we're living, so many people are just trying to get the basics on the table. And so when you make it where organic foods or foods that have not been, completely saturated in preservatives are not financially available to those that are on, get $600, $700 every 2 weeks, with a mortgage of $950, it is a really crazy ball of wax that just does not seem to come together to work in our favor. And so that boils over to the spiritual side of it, because we get so frustrated because the comment is, well, if God loved us, then why would he let us have to go through what we're going through right now? But nobody says that on the way to the club. Nobody says that when we pass in one joint, one blunt at a time. Nobody thinks about, well, if I love God, why would I allow myself to live this lifestyle? We don't go to that place, because again, it requires us to have lifestyle changes. It requires us to be intentional and to do things differently that are not comfortable or convenient. And I really believe that this is one of the biggest issues, one of the biggest problems, is that we don't realize that we truly do have a great God that lives on the inside of us, that gives us the grace to do the stuff that we cannot do on our own. If that is getting up and going to the gym, to be intentional about working out and not just laying around and eating Lay's. If that is, hey, I'm not going to fry my chicken, I'm going to bake my chicken. Food addiction is a real addiction. It's a real problem. And when you're suffering and the church is not talking about these things, you don't know that there's help available. And the church is so silent right now that they're not talking about the things that people are battling with. So, because the pandemic is not going away unless God does something. It's not going to go away unless God says, you know what? Okay, we learned all the lessons we need to learn. We're done with this. It's not leaving us right now. So we have to learn how to function, how to live in this season that we're in. And that really is a matter of saying, okay, I got to do something different. This right here is not working. And it's a matter of being honest with ourselves and having friends and family that are honest with us to talk to us. But this is the setup of the enemy. Everybody is trying to just survive. That's it. Not thrive, not move forward, just survive. And so in survival mode, I got to look out for me and mine. And we're not focused on saying, hey, you know what can I do to help my cousin? I know she's really struggling. She's 300 pounds and she's having a tough time. What can I do to be of assistance to my sister or my friend down the street or the girl next door? It is such a Pandora's box. And it definitely starts back to the word, which is greater is God in you than anything in this world. And if you access him, you'll have the benefit of what comes to having that relationship with him, which helps you build your spiritual, changes your confession about your situation, puts your mind in a place of being intentional, and can help change your social economic situation. So it all goes together.
Thank you. Look at you. Come on, preach. So, Casey, hearing that, and we do tend to say, these are the answers, being more spiritual, but let's be honest too. What happens when we've heard the message? What are some behavioral things or some things we could do to to get us to that place where we do feel motivated to be obedient to the word, where we feel motivated? It has to start. It has to start somewhere um, besides knowing that we know better, knowing that we know better. Casey.
Right. Right. Yes, I agree. You
Okay.
got to start somewhere. And, I do want to, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, great. Yes. You're right. We have to start somewhere. And
Mhm.
I agree with everything that both Joy and Daphne said. We have a lot of factors already stacked against us, whether it be hereditary, come from a history of not taking care of our bodies, if it's high cholesterol or blood pressure or, other ailments that may be um, stacked against us from birth, right? Just because of the environments that our ancestors grew up in. Um, and then, the environment that we grow up in, if we're taught,
I think we have
what
it.
habits are
Yeah.
beyond and exercise and how we think that top of issues with access to
Mhm.
adequate health care, access to education, and different things that are going to help us live in a way where
I think we have a bad connection. Can we maybe if you turn your video off, it'll help increase.
definitely
Is it
have
just
a lot
me?
of things stacked.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna come back to Casey. I hate to interrupt her, but I feel like the connection is really bad. Yeah. Okay, there we go. So then, perfect. Marielle, you do the holistic approach to physical training. Do we tend to run into those excuses though? That because I think about the fact that I work in Ferguson, and we have the Paul's Farmers Market, I believe that's the name of it, who brings in their fresh produce bus every Friday. And fresh produce, local farmers, the fruit and vegetables are cheaper than they are in Soulard. Soulard take food stamps. And then I know that we have transportation issues. So is there a thing where we could catch a bus? Is it where we are still um, socioeconomically at a disadvantage, or do you find more or less these are the things we say or the excuses we make, especially being a physical trainer? um, we know that the last thing we want to do is get moving. Is it real, or is it something that maybe a change of mindset we need? What's your opinion? We can't hear you. I can't hear you. Yeah, we have about the trouble on every hand, but not what is it? Doesn't preach, Pastor Casey's
Can
right,
you hear me
but
now?
Maria. Okay, yes,
Okay, I'm sorry. So yes, I was
yeah, we are good. Look, and Daphne is weak. I feel like I don't even know who is having the Who should be talking in a minute?
I am tickled right now. I'm so tickled right now because the enemy hates this stuff. This is stuff that's gonna change people's lives. And so he just okay, I'm
Oh,
back
look,
muted. I'm
but
muted.
listen,
I'm out.
no,
I'm
you have to
muted.
be. Listen,
Yes,
have your
madam.
way. And funny thing is, he don't realize we still have an hour and a half left. So, oh, it's go. The
Right.
message gonna get out, and our people are gonna listen, and they're gonna still like and share this show.
Whoo,
It was
child. Okay.
good.
Mm-mm-mm.
Casey, do we have you back? Are we able to hear you? No, if not, J. Ross, this is perfect timing to have you chime in. I'm asking. You went through the COVID thing. We talked about health, and you having better health. Do you feel like now that you're on the other side of this, it was more excuses at first? Is it something you feel like you could have done, or do you feel like you really had a valid reason you were sick before COVID? You on mute?
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
You
you.
hear me? Okay. I was like, well, I'm saying a valid reason. What do
Like,
you
do you
mean?
feel
Like,
like there was something
yeah,
more
I was
you could have
exercising.
done for your health before? Like, you know how after the fact we say before we're actively, because we know that in my opinion you've lost a lot of weight. Um, and I feel like you are advertising
Yeah.
your health regimen, you're walking, you're advertising eating healthier foods. Do you feel like initially it was just lack of education? Or do you feel like we tend to make excuses even for ourselves to not have to use the discipline to do the work?
Well, for me, I mean, it happened so early. It happened in early March, so I think it was like the first onset of COVID. And I didn't, people didn't wasn't really talking about it in the black community. We didn't like even now, you wouldn't even think there was COVID, for the places I go, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, but I do know that losing the weight helped. And I had started losing weight regardless before COVID even came around. And so, started back in June and I had lost 41 pounds through my dietitian. And so when COVID did hit, first of all, I didn't even know I had it until I had a slight cough, but that was it. I just went to the hospital on a humbug, and they kept me. And he told me I had COVID, and I was in there for 14 days. But even with getting out, the same thing. I was up to 3 miles. I can walk 5 miles now, and I just try to tell all my friends and family members and people who will listen. Most people don't listen. That like if my son, it's funny. My son don't think COVID exists. My son. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird how people they take what they want to take from things and they give it back and what they don't want to believe. So I talk to a lot of people, a lot of musicians about wearing a mask, social distancing, that type of stuff. But they just go over their head. Ain't nobody trying to hear it for real. So I still film the concerts. And then, he was trying to do what they call it, Joy, social tracking, or find out where you been and all that kind of noise. But before I got sick, I had just filmed Erykah Badu's concert, and it was probably 20,000. I filmed Bobby Brown concert the same week, probably another 10,000. So I was like, man, you have to call 30,000 people, to try to find out what happened. But in my case, though, I'm just first of all, I'm just glad to be alive because a lot of my friends passed away from it. And it's funny too, and I'm glad I got you on her, Daphne, because I don't think I mentioned this to you before. But I was talking to Pastor King, and I talked to Pastor Jones at Friendly Temple, and I know I'm gonna change the subject just a little bit, Melville, but just bear with me. Um,
You're
Daphne,
fine.
Daphne, why do you think I lived and others died?
You ready?
I'm listening.
So here's the thing. I believe that we are here because we have purpose. And I truly believe that we have to be here to fulfill what God has assigned over our lives. And people can have opinions on it, and they'll say, well, this person was 30 years old and they passed
Right.
away. You know, this person was 19 and they passed away. But we don't know the number of years that we have here on this earth. We don't know. We don't know that it could actually be. And if we believe that God is in control of all things, which is hard for people to trust when things are tough. But if we choose to believe that God is in control of all things, we have to believe then that He's not going to take us out of here until we have completed our assignment. Now, there are things that we can do to speed up the process by not doing what Joy was talking about, going to the doctor on a regular basis, making sure that we monitor our health, doing the, at least giving the old college try to
Mm-hmm.
just not eat, as many scrambled eggs with Crisco oil and try to use some Pam. Let's just start there. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Nothing intense, real light. We at least have to begin to try. I truly believe that I've had people that have passed away. We managed to stay COVID free for all the quarantine. We opened back up in July, and we still were riding high. And then this last wave, I've had a few members that have passed away, and one of them was 48. And but he had pre-existing conditions that, of course, when it hit, it took everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I have said, even before him and before that, which was, you gotta be a steward of that which you're given. And I truly believe, Jay, that you were already in the process of being a steward over the temple that you have. You were exercising and working out and posting your stuff. I remember seeing your post on Facebook, and this was before you even, before COVID hit you. So I believe that's the answer. The answer is that we're here. If you're here, it's because you got something you're supposed to do, and because God trusts us. If you here, it's because He trusts you to pick up from here and do better and make better choices, so that you can really do it effectively. I like I tell anybody, what you do, Jay, Melva, Joy.
She went out.
Yeah, I guess it's her turn.
It's
But
We
what
have
all
I'm
good.
gonna do, I meant to put my
we
phone on
have
do not
Maria
disturb.
back, but I think
There
that was
she is.
a good answer. I think that
Yeah.
was a good answer. Oh, there you go. You back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to go on do not disturb. I'm gonna do not disturb just a second. But my last thing was that my last thing was that if you are here, the goal now is to say, God, what do I need to do? Which area do you need me to affect? And Melva, you said one thing before that was really it was so imperative when you said, I know we need to do better. But what is the thing? What is that thing that keeps us from actually doing what we need to do? And I believe truly that we make decisions, but we don't make decisions to stick to the decisions that we made. We make the decision and we do the first step. Everybody know the first day you go to the gym, it's phenomenal, right? But it's day number 2 that be about to take you out, because you got to do it again the next day. And it is a matter of truly asking God to help you, that grace that I was talking about, to say, I got to make this change. And what do the season, I don't call them old no more because my age keep going up. What do the season folks say? They said, what, when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, your whole body gonna make you get up and do something different. And I truly believe that making the decision to stick to the decision changes everything, and asking God to give you the grace, which is the ability to do what you cannot do on your own. It's
Yeah.
a mental game. It's all in the head. And until you tell your mind what y'all gonna do, you're gonna be right where you were.
But let me chime in on that, because like in my field of endeavor, I notice like people who have ideas, dreams, goals, want to start businesses. I would venture to think that a lot of people, most people, are afraid, to go after what they believe in. They want people to give it to them, but there's nobody giving you anything. If you want to be, like you, I'm the only guy on the panel. This is really jacked up. But if you want to be like nurse or business owners and stuff like that, you have to do something to go get it. I just find that the majority of the people that I run into, you try to talk to them, they want it, but they won't go get it. So there's some type of fear level or inferiority complex that's placed into them, probably at an early age, that they don't really believe in themselves. So how do you get a person, might have trouble at home, or people always, I don't want to sound insensitive, but, people always got excuses, my mama beat me and all that old stuff, but my mama beat me too. Shoot, with an earning card, you know what I'm saying? I got five brothers. They all
So
got beat
let
down.
me let me
But
stop
but
you.
but what I'm saying is, what inside of a person from you guys' experience to make them can cause them to quell the fear. What's up, Alex? And go get their dream.
So I think that's something that please Marielle and Casey both. But one thing I want to chime in and say too is I feel like it's about everybody don't know it's about access to education. But here we have experts in the house. Go ahead, Mario. Then Casey. Hopefully your sound, child. We
I know.
need you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah.
now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. To piggyback off of what he said, first of all, people have to know who they are and whose they are. Okay. So if you look at the scripture, and I wrote it down, 1 Corinthians 6:19 through 20, it says, "Do not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, who you have received from God. You are not your own. You are bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies." So therefore, in this scripture, God is saying he is in you. So therefore, if you truly love God, if you're truly going into church every single day, you want to walk into his word, you have to take care of this body. This is what is going to, this is the vehicle that's going to get you to whatever your purpose is, like Daphne talked about, right? We all have a calling, something on our life, but how can we walk in our purpose when we don't even know who we are and we're not taking care of our body? Our mind is not right. We don't even know who we are. So therefore, you get distracted by everything else that's going on in the world. We know that they already set in place different things to strategically make us be behind and have some disadvantages, where they put the nicer grocery stores, all the healthier stores. You got to go out to Brentwood, out to Chesterfield. They're not going to put that in North County. You see what I'm saying? But because we know these things, we can't let that stop us now. We're in the age of information where we can't say no longer that they're holding us bondage. We're holding ourselves bondage, because once the information is out there, you got to go out there and apply it. You got to go out there and go get it, because they're not going to do anything for you. The only person that's going to care about you is yourself. So self-care is the best care. You have to take care of yourself. And it's not about being selfish, but if you don't take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you? Nobody. And so, therefore, I think we make this very complicated. And so what I try to really teach people is, like, let's make this a lifestyle that's conducive to you. We're all different. We all come from different walks of life. We've had different struggles. We have different things that we deal with. But if you make this a lifestyle and you stay consistent and disciplined in it, you will get the results in anything that you want. People want to come and say, oh, in 14 days, I want to have a body like you. Well, it doesn't happen that way. Like, everything is a lifestyle. Your mindset, you don't just shift your mindset in one day. It takes time. It's daily affirmations, because a lot of us have baggage that we've had for so long, and we're trying to heal from that. So it's going to be a process. But the thing is, are you willing to make those sacrifices every single day? You got to surround yourself around people who are going to be positive and uplift you, because you can't do it alone. God puts angels in our life every single day to help us to get to where we need to be. But we don't realize that these people are supposed to be in your life because they don't look a certain way, or they don't speak the way you want to, or they're not as educated as you think, or they have a college degree. Look, all of that stuff doesn't matter. People have stories, and God has given them a vision, and is supposed to be a vessel that people are supposed to use because they've been through something. And once I realize my purpose, every single day I wake up on fire, because I know people need to be proactive about their health. I was 23 years old, thought I was completely healthy, a college athlete, and all of a sudden I find myself in the hospital. Why? Because I was eating garbage. Yeah, I was working out, but you can't outwork a diet. What you put in your body is not always about working out, but it's about what you feed your body from a mental standpoint, what you're feeding your body from food standpoint. And so therefore, that's why I try to educate people about how do we make this a simple lifestyle, because we make it more complicated than it has to be. But you have to start somewhere, and you have to stay consistent. And so, that's what I try to really preach to people, to, not just talk the talk, but let's walk it together, right? That's why it's Miss Let's Go. Like, we're doing this together. I'm on this journey too. We're going to have ups and downs, but we cannot stop. You have to keep going, and you have to figure out why you're doing this. And once you know who you are and whose you are, you like, forget it. I'm not about to not neglect myself, because I know this cake don't taste that good, and I know what it's going to do long term. And then it's all about moderation too. Can you have it? Yes, but we can't eat this stuff every single day. Not with the lifestyles that we live. We're already stressed out. We don't take care of our mental health. We don't go to the doctor. So on top of all of these things, you can't eat this stuff every single day because therefore your body will break down and there's nothing that you can do about it. So I know I said a lot in there, but if I could just sum it all up, you have to start with one simple goal, one simple thing that you want to accomplish, and then you will go from there. You can't, we have this big vision, and that's great, but you got to start with doing the daily tasks every single day that will help you to be successful in accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish.
I like that. Thank you, Marielle. Casey, hopefully, listen, come on, connection, come through in a mighty way. We are asking, what are some tools or ways, like, people say, do it, do it. I have, I have trouble with self-control. I'm just being transparent in front of everybody. It's hard for me to tell me no because I'm a middle child. So I felt like I compromised my whole life. Good morning, Richard. I compromised. That's my brother on there, big boy. I compromised my whole life. So now that I'm grown, I'm gonna do what I want to do. How do we come back to that place of discipline?
Yes, yes. It can be difficult. But like Marielle said, it's every day. It's making a choice every single day to be healthy, to live the lifestyle that allows you to live your purpose.
Girl, that's okay. We love you, Katie. But listen, and we appreciate each and every God. I want to hear you. We need you. But now we're gonna have to lean on you, Joy. Uh, what is that? Are there resources out there? What does that look like if we are at a place where we want to try and we're ready to do it, but we feel like we can or we can't afford it, or behaviorally, maybe we need a dietitian, maybe we need education. Is there something that's available in our healthcare system for the community? Are there programs and resources out there that will help you get that start?
Can you hear me now?
We love you, sissy. Joy, can you help us with that? Are there programs? Are there resources out there? Do the hospitals help, or are you all more of a last resort?
No, as far as I know now, this is usually a daytime thing. I work at night, so a lot of those resources that are available, I don't really know a whole lot of that, but they do have social workers, case managers, things of that sort that help people figure out, situations like if it is it a transportation issue? Is that why you aren't getting to the doctor? If you're a newly diagnosed diabetic, do you need education on your diet? We do have dietitians, all those kinds of resources that come and educate people. Unfortunately, most people um, aren't teachable, at that stage. You have to like really assess and figure out where they are when it comes to that. But there are the resources out there if they want them. People just have to be teachable and go get it, you know. Um, but usually standard that is part of discharge paperwork as well as during their hospital course, that these people will come and visit them and talk to them.
Okay, thank you. Because I feel like people don't really understand that. My mom, we always take her to St. Luke's when she's sick or have an emergency, and it's automatic that they send a dietitian in. And and they go through these things. I'm wondering if that's where we're missing it. But we don't want the hospital to be our doctor. We don't. So what is it that the church? So we talked about. And I want to get back to that with Jay Ross, accountability and having accountability partners and how important that is, and with you too, Maria. But Daphne, what is? How can so? I'm not trying to say that it's the church's responsibility to boss us around, right? But I think where where I still find my where if I could take an issue with the church, growing up in church, is that for everything that they do tell us to do and boss us around in, why isn't health a bigger issue? They talk about, and maybe it is health when they talk about drinking and smoking and clubbing or babies out of wedlock. But we
No,
have
but it's
fish
not.
fries
It's
and chicken dinners,
right.
and
No.
nobody is saying let's put together a
Right.
salad spread and let's do a why?
Right. Because there is a breach of under there's a breach of action between the church and the world and the people that's in the audience. So the church is always focused on the spiritual side of everything. Get to know God, spend time with God, spend time in prayer. But then there's no bridge to teach me how to do those things. So we just ignore the stuff. This is what the church has done. We just ignore the real problems that exist in our community. And we just blanket it by saying, well, they just blanket it by saying, okay, just pray about that. Or just, you got well, just pray about that. And, and God's going to do that for you. Or we're not going to talk about health because we do got a chicken sale after church. You see what I'm saying? We ain't going to talk about that because we going to have these chitlins and greens for the church potluck. We don't want to do that because, again, it causes us to be responsible and accountable and have to have a lifestyle that matches. When I I promise to goodness, when I first started pastoring, when my mom went home to be with the Lord, I had gained so much weight just from just the journey of walking through that thing with her. For just living in the hospitals and eating hospital food, and Joy, the chicken strips, they good, but you just can only eat so many. And so you can, and you live this lifestyle in the hospital, and I promise you, I know I picked up at least 50 pounds in that process. So when I started pastoring, I'm looking at myself and I'm like, wow, nobody said nothing. Like, did nobody say, hey, you may want to start going back to the gym. Hey, let's do some watermelon instead of an apple pie. Nobody said anything, and they just let me waddle around on that stage, and they was talking about how good God was, but it wasn't my reality. I had other things going on inside of me that nobody was addressing. And so when I really began to say, okay, if I'm going to be telling people how faithful God is, our body is a temple, then I got to do something to start to make the change. So it was, and that's what I wanted to say. It's one step, one move at a time. We look at things as a whole mountain versus just the steps to get there. And we get overwhelmed because we don't have access to counseling. We don't have access to trainers and dietitians. Because I'm going to tell you something. When you go to the hospital and they send that dietitian in there, she has already clocked in on your bill. Everything that come through that door, the social work, everybody has clocked in on your bill. And that's where we have the problem. We don't have that the church, it is on the church. It's the church that has to say, okay, because we're supposed to be a place of healing and health. So it's our responsibility to say, hey, okay, you know what? I'm going to have dietitians that come in. There are dietitians and trainers that will come in and just want to talk to the people, and they won't charge you because everybody has to do some kind of community service. You know what I'm saying? You have to at least make the effort. And this is why, Melba, don't nobody want to talk about the hard stuff, because it requires the people that's talking about it to be accountable. That's the thing. Okay. There's nothing worse. Back on, here I am. Okay. Can you hear me?
Listen,
All right.
she got calls,
There I am.
y'all.
Okay.
Let her put it on
It
the serve.
I'm gonna say, Casey didn't put that spirit on me. No, I'm just playing, Casey.
Right. I just no. Love you, Casey.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Can you hear me now?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, wonderful. I'm gonna keep my video off. Hopefully that way you guys can hear me. But I just want to say
Oh,
I
that's you,
have been
Casey. I thought that
agreeing
was
with you guys.
Daphne talking.
Yes, that's me. I've been agreeing with you guys on the back end. If you can still hear me, hopefully. Yes. Okay, wonderful. Agree. It's all about prevention. It's all about having those hard conversations. It's easy to have a hard conversation with someone else, but when it comes to having that same difficult conversation with ourselves, that's where people shy away. That's where, we lose that consistency. We lose that follow through. And there's a lot that goes into that, as to education, to preventative things. The hospital becomes our doctor instead of having a regular primary care doctor where we're of mental health issues, not actually acknowledging that they exist and doing anything about them. Treating them as if they are, normal, or if it's a healthy way to live. Sometimes we just don't know that some of the norms within our families are not healthy, and relationships should not look the way. Um, so really educating ourselves on what, a healthy being is, what a healthy relationship looks like, what a healthy relationship with others, but a healthy relationship with ourselves, what a healthy relationship with food looks like. Um, how do we take care of our health? So, yes, absolutely. Education is key. And then actually doing something, putting actions to those words, figuring out how you can live the way, once you get that education and you understand, okay, maybe I should drink some more water. Maybe I should decrease my sugar intake and increase my vegetable intake. How do I actually do that? Thinking about, all those access issues that we talked about. If there's not a grocery store that sells good produce in my community, these items at a reasonable cost? What are the other healthcare resources out there that can help me learn more about my? How can we educate ourselves? Because like Mario said, like, we live in the to not be doing that research and asserting ourselves to get that.
We were doing good too. I felt like one of those, like, I ain't want to say anything, but I want to piggyback on what Casey is saying. And I feel like absolutely doing the research understanding it all starts with education. So one of the things with not one of the things, the main goal of Finding Out Consulting Group again is to address the individual with a holistic approach, getting you to look at yourself differently. How do we get how do I get myself to look at myself to the extent that my life matters, my health matters, my finances matter, my future matter? How do I see myself, even amongst the group of friends where we say that we like to say that your top five friends is basically the average of who you are financially, socially, physically, really, and spiritually. Intellectually, we find out that we typically, if we look at our five closest friends, we're typically the average of them. We typically adopt what we're around. So, how do we look at ourselves differently? How do we create that balance in our life? The one thing we say is that we address these four aspects: intellectual, spiritual, physical, and social, because you have to have balance in your life in order to move forward. You can try to roll on a wheel that's flat, but you won't get very far. If you don't have balance, the wheels in your life cannot turn effectively. So it does start with education. That's why we want to provide the education. We provide these type of conversations with free education and resources, a place to start. How do I start? Because it starts with a discipline. And I think we talked about it earlier, but I like to call it that flexible discipline, where this is the discipline we have, but then I have a discipline on top of it that allows for adjustments in the process while still maintaining what I need to do. Another thing that I've been reading, I read this article. The gentleman's last name is Ferris. I can't think of his first name right now, but he talks about setting ridiculously easy goals every day. He said for himself, he want to write a book. I just need to get, as he called it, 2 crappy pages done. If I could get 2 crappy pages done today, I've done it. We like to look at it as, okay, I need to lose 100 pounds. And I need to do it by going on a crash diet. And I need to do it by cutting out all carbs, all sugars, all dairy, all meat, all this. And then day two, we are like, I am so hungry. So hungry. This is unrealistic. It's too big. Why don't we just do 2 crappy pages? Let's say, listen, I need to lose some weight. He said, start by putting your tennis shoes on every day. I might not get out there to run, but I'm getting ready to put these shoes on every day. And it's going to become a habit. How do I build upon that? I want to do better with my health. Okay, I might not have the willpower right now to start off by doing the crash diet, but I might have the willpower to do the research. Let me find out my blood type, what is the best, you know, dairy and grain and protein, or what do I need in my body for my body? Let's start there. Let's start with the education of understanding what I need. Because as much as we love it, you all, we have to come to terms with the fact that greens and cornbread and sweet potatoes and macaroni and cheese and smothered potatoes and neck bones and rib tips and listen, oh, come on, we can name it. Can't we? That's not good for us. Period. Point blank. My sister, not my sister, I'm sorry, my mother's nurse came in and she said no one should ever eat baked macaroni and cheese. I'm going to tell you, there's not a portion size that's good enough for you. She said between the pasta and the butter and the dairy, the milk and the egg and the cheese, one helping is too much. But when I say we pile it on for Thanksgiving, Christmas coming up, I'm so sick of seeing soul food. I don't know what to do. I'm over it. We're done. What else can we do? We don't have to keep eating the scraps that they left us, that master left us, and we added the grease and the lard and the fat to it to season it up and make it good. We're not living. In case we haven't noticed, it's not working. We have high blood pressure. We have high cholesterol. We have diabetes. We have lupus. We have things that inflame our joints. We walk around with rheumatoid arthritis, and all of it is probably linked to our diets. Mine's going crazy. We want to invest in finances, but we can't because we're buying medicine. Where does it stop? Who says stop bringing macaroni and cheese to the fish fry or to the church dinner? Because y'all's my favorite meal. Y'all, I can eat listen, it don't even have to be the real thing. I can eat Kraft by the box. Pray for me. My favorite. Where's the line? Where's the line? Who is in charge of teaching our community that we're killing ourselves and that we think it's cute to display all this junk on Facebook? We feel like having, and I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna give the floor to somebody else. Listen, I'm feeling my health. I remember one of my good friends, I call him Big Tony. He told me, "You missed my breakfast." I said, "What did you have, Tony?" He said, "I had eggs and smothered potatoes and sausage and bacon and waffles and French toast." I looked at him. I said, "Just because you eat it in the morning doesn't make it healthy." I said, "Tony, you're going to kill yourself." He's deceased now. Eggs are full of cholesterol. We top that with bacon, and we refuse to not eat it. We refuse. Get turkey bacon. I don't like turkey bacon. I'm not gonna. We refuse. Sausage is full of fat. Then we add bread on top. And then we put the starch on the potatoes. And now you want to display it on Facebook and say, "Look, y'all, we eating good," when we're not. Now we got to see joy. And then we mad when they tell us to change our diet because we like, that's my mama's recipe. I ain't gonna stop eating this on Thanksgiving. Who is in charge of telling us that's a no-no? Stop. Stop. You're morbidly obese. Quit. We don't go to the doctor. We don't go to the dentist. We don't see a therapist. Help. Yeah. Come on. It's heavy. I need my experts. Come on. I'm done talking. Help us get to the place where we have come to terms.
Yeah. I think that
Well,
I think that something you said was so true. Go ahead, Marielle. Go ahead.
oh, okay. No, just real quick. So let's look at some of the things we do eat for Christmas because people say, like, you're just taking everything away. Some of the stuff is not bad, it actually has a lot of nutrients. But like you said, we kill it with the butter and everything and how we cook it. Greens are awesome, right? We should eat those greens, but it's what we put in them that makes it bad. So eat the greens, but stop cooking it with all the neck bones and all of that stuff. Don't cook it to where you're basically cooking the nutrients out, right? Sweet potatoes, we make those yams, whatever people want to call them. Those have a lot of nutrients in them. Like those are amazing. So we eat some foods that actually are very beneficial, but it's how we've been learned to how to prepare them, right? So I think when you talked about education, it's educating people on, where the nutrients come from and how do I cook it? What do I cook with? How do I still make it flavorful? Because we know that's what we grew up on. Like, oh, it got to taste good. But really it doesn't, because at the end of the day, it's more about what we're feeding our body, and we can't eat for taste. We got to eat to live, right? And that's where people have to shift their mindset. So some of the things that we're eating, it's not bad. It's just how we are preparing them. So taking those steps of making those changes where you can still eat some of those things, but just looking at how you prepare them. And then you talked about as far as inflammation and things in the body, a lot of times the reason why people can't focus or their mindset or they're depressed is because everything comes from the gut. So if your gut isn't healthy, then therefore there's a connection between your mindset and your gut. Okay, there's endorphins, there's uh, things that are housed in your gut that people don't realize that are linked to your mindset. So when you start to eat better, you start to have a mindset that's more clear and you're open. And I even noticed it in myself. I'm like, wow, you get rid of that sugar and some of that other stuff, you're able to see a little clearer your thoughts. You're not as depressed because sugar is addictive. Like a lot of that stuff is addictive and it's done a lot to our brain. And so therefore you have to get rid of it. And that's what makes it so difficult because we've been doing it for so long. But there is definitely a correlation between what we eat and what's in our gut and our mindset. So if we can shift that, you see a major difference. So
And just to kind of to go off what she just said, and everything that you were saying, Melva, was just so true about, our desires and what we like, but how it affects us. And it really all goes back to mindset. It really does. Because if your perception can change, then things will start to change. Your perception about any situation, your perception about your body, your perception about, your job, your perception about going to the gym, everything, because we look at it, if we look at it from a negative perspective, then it drains us before we even get started. If we look at it, it's like, if you think about it, the hardest thing about working out is getting to the gym. Once you get there in the atmosphere, once you get to your trainer, you like, Wonder Woman, you looking for the next tool. You got your weight gloves, you pull them out your bag, you got your vest on, you got everything, because you're what? In an atmosphere that is conducive to push you to be a better you. And so your perception is everything. And if you ignore the negative thoughts that you have about going to the gym, or the negative thoughts that you have about eating certain foods, I think I've learned so much about myself in the last just month and a half when it came down to my perception about food, the way that I see food. I told my husband, I said, I really believe I have a food addiction. This was not a few months ago, because I'm lunch thinking about dinner talking about bread. I'm that girl. And at the same time, I'm at the gym. And I'm like, okay, let me get this off. But I had to ask God to give me grace to steady myself, because I don't want to mess up my hard work by putting in something that's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. So when I asked God to help my perception change towards food, so that I didn't look at it like, yes, for a half order chicken fried rice. It had to be like, okay, listen, you and fried rice are not best friends. Okay, let's find a new friend. We got to find a friend that's going to work for us, because I really want to be the very best me I can be. And that, I believe, is so key. If you have people, again, spiritually, people who are walking out their purpose, who are in position and not distracted by life and sadness and depression, they're walking out their purpose. They're on your job. They're your best friend, that you talk to every other day. That the girl at the grocery store that you see when you go in on Thursdays, that person being in position for God to say, hey, I need you to minister life to her. I need you to tell her that I got her back. Let her know you working this journey out too. And that's how the enemy messes us up. He gets us completely distracted with our lives. And Mario, when you read First Corinthians, and you said we honor God with our, if you do you not honor God with your body, because your body is the temple. If you don't have a relationship with him, you don't even know how to honor him. So if you don't honor him, you surely don't honor what he created. And it all goes together. And when you begin to say, okay, God, what I'm doing just ain't working, and I need you to help me. Come in and help me with all this stuff. He knows what all this stuff means. And he starts one thing at a time. And when you begin to, and you said something else, Mario, that was so good too, realizing who you are and whose you are. That is so important, because when we don't know who we are, we don't know the potential that lives on the inside of us, then we sabotage. And that all flows together. That's why the ball of all the stuff around it in the center is our spiritual wellness, our socioeconomic health, mental clarity. All these things function in the middle of that ball. So if all of us make a decision to be self-accountable, to be in position for whenever God needs to speak through us, not be distracted by the stuff that's happening in our lives, then we can be effective. One girl at the grocery store, somebody at the Walmart, one person as a client at the gym, one person at a time. And we will begin to eat this thing away so that people can actually live and enjoy their life. What Joy does in the gym, what Joy does at the hospital, and I'm a registered nurse. I work emergency, trauma, surgery, the whole 9 yards. I had them people behind that curtain. They vulnerable, they sick, they don't feel good, they didn't had a hard day, a hard life. Perfect time to just let them know, you know what, God loves you. And this ain't gonna be like this forever. He will position us to be effective if we pay attention. It changes everything.
Look, that's good. Y'all, first of all, y'all have me over here in. Casey, were you getting ready to say something? Listen, anyhow you want to
Yes.
talk, honey, we want you in. We just
Yes, I was gonna hop in there. I agree with everything that everyone is saying. We definitely are responsible for ourselves and our communities, right? We have to go out there and live it and spread it, right? We have to encourage the people around us to be healthy. We have to teach our children to be healthy. We have to create habits that are healthy, whether we're talking about our mental health, our physical health, our spiritual health, our intellectual health, right? All of the pieces of ourselves, we have to take care of each piece. And it is about finding that balance. And the way to do that is like Melva said, write those 2 crappy pages. You do it one little step at a time. And if there are barriers in front of you, rather than, shying away from that and saying, there's a barrier, we have to work through that. You can't be afraid to have those tough conversations and to really dig down and figure out what is up underneath that, so that you can do things that are going to help you move in the direction that you want to be. So when we're talking about changing habits, right? Again, we have to start small. What is something that's reasonable? What is something that's attainable? I like to talk about SMART goals, right? So it's something that we can measure, right? It's something that's attainable, it's something that's realistic, it's something that's time oriented. This is how we set a goal that we can follow through with. So maybe my ultimate goal is to lose that 50 pounds, but I'm going to do that every day by drinking X amount of water and eating X amount of vegetables and not eating, X amount of sugar. Looking at those goals. And when we're trying to work through those goals, a lot of times we put barriers in front of ourselves. So we talked about, people, places, things. If you want to change, yet you're doing the same things, hanging out with the same people, and going to the same places that got you to the place where you're at, that you're trying to get out of, continuing to do those things is not going to help you. So you have to really evaluate, what situations are you putting yourself in? What are the people, or how are the people around you making you feel and contributing to your behaviors? Where are you going and what are you doing with your time? Think about where you want to be and make your actions align with your goals. Create an environment for success. You can't just say, I'm going to go, lose 50 pounds, or I want to take better care of my mental health, and then just keep doing what you're doing. You have to set yourself up for success. So I'll say, I'm going to lose 50 pounds and then go to start going shopping at Soulard Market, and planning and prepping your meals. I'm going to take better care of my mental health. So set out some time in your schedule, for a mindfulness practice, for prayer, for whatever it is that you need that makes you feel good. Be intentional and build those things in, create habits that are healthy, and don't try to tackle the whole thing all in one go.
did you go through the FinOp process, Casey?
I
You
have
just
not.
did. I hope. I love it, but that's our process, and you're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Our process is we give you the will and the deal. First of all, the will assess where you are, and the deal determines where you want to go. And in that deal is determining exactly your destination and where you want to go specifically. E is to eliminate those things that take you away. A is the accountability piece, and L is the liberation or the leverage. But that accountability piece, and we were talking about that with Jay Ross earlier, and I want to get back on that with him. And even too, to kind of piggyback and chime in with you. Once, Casey, once you create your process, again, you have to take the small steps to do. We're not asking you to eat the whole cake. We are showing you how to cut a slice and eat it bit by bit. And what we prefer is the part you like, you eat that last. Get the hard work done first. Okay. So that you spend the rest of the piece of cake enjoying the part you like. But what we but it's that accountability piece. The one thing that we're learning is we get to the point where we create the process. We figure out what those small steps are to get there. We do create what we call benchmarks and milestones to let you know how to measure your success. How do I know if I'm doing good? How do I know if I'm moving in the right direction? But I believe that a piece is pivotal, and that's the accountability. I wanted to talk to Jay Ross. We talked earlier about you put it on Facebook when you're ready to walk. How important is that to your success, or how I'm not important? How critical was that piece to your success of being healthy? Having someone to walk through it with you, having that motivation and encouragement and that help.
Well, I walk by myself. I mean, I don't care who go. You feel me? I mean, one thing about I'm what you might call I'm a people person, but I'm an independent self-encourager. I don't need anybody. You know, if I know something needs to be done within me, I'm gonna handle my business regardless. So I just invite people. I don't care who goes. It don't make me no difference. But and you guys were talking about food, and it's so funny because I was sitting there thinking, man, I'm going to White Castle when when I get off this thing. Give me a number one. But like I went while y'all been talking. See, I don't know Casey and Marielle, so I went and checked out Marielle's Facebook page, and she's skinny as she's skinny. Marielle, you like built, you be living weights looking like, you know what I'm saying? And me, that's not where I'm trying to get to. And to me, as far as like goals and stuff, it's all relative. Just like success, money. My idea of success is not yours. Everybody don't want a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? Everybody don't want to travel the world. To them, that's not what they want to do. So, but I respect what everybody's saying, but it's just not my life. I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna eat me some dressing. I'm gonna eat me some yams. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna eat as much. You know what I'm saying? I used to get my big bowl, hog everything in, get my big witch's brew going. But like now, I'm just, I eat in moderation. I don't eat as much. You know what I'm saying? So that's not taking anything from anybody, but we all different. I don't want to do what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? I just don't. It's not for me. I walk my 5 miles because first of all, now I enjoy walking it. But I walked it at first because I was tired of being fat. I wanted to look better, feel better, talk on the phone and walk at the same time or whatnot. But now that I've reached that goal, I'm going to continue to move forward, but I'm going a different direction. Y'all, I guess women and men, we just think differently.
Problem, because men don't typically eat. I'm saying
it's really not a problem.
If you don't care how long you live, that is your prerogative. But
when you go, I got a friend that died. Hold on, man. I got a friend that died. He was 28.
I get that. There are
he died. Right. He died. And wait a minute.
I get that.
He died on a treadmill.
There are exceptions to every rule. I feel. There are exceptions to the rule, but what we're finding is the rule is that as a culture and society, we're not healthy. And everybody can't take that attitude of, I'm going to eat what I'm going to eat. I say that to my mom. I try to pickle my mom because I love my mother. I don't have my father. My father passed away. And my father was the healthy eater. He had a hereditary issue. But I do.
Look, hey,
yes.
Melba.
Sir.
Melba. My grandmother ate pigeons, raccoons.
I believe
I'm serious.
Where
Y'all
is
think I'm playing?
My grandmother needed the view of the show. Hey, Rob, give us a drop.
I mean, wait a minute. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to eat. All I'm saying is what one person's path is not another person's. My grandmother was 99. My grandfather was 100. They ate like what they ate in Mississippi. They ate coons and pigeons and turtles and all that kind of stuff. I know food changed over the course of the year, and I'm not saying people to go out and be gluttonous and just eat. I don't know what the Bible say, true that, but what I'm saying is what you don't eat and don't want to eat, that ain't got nothing to do with me. I know what I want to eat, but I'm going to eat in moderation, and I'm going to work it off. Not so much as work it off, because you can't really work it off, and if I died, just say if I got off this thing and I died today, and y'all talking about me in the next time, I'm just saying hypothetically, because you don't know when you're going to croak, but hypothetically, you say, yeah, man, James, he died. He went to get the White Castle, but they're not going to say, well, he lost 55 pounds. You know what I'm saying? You don't know when you're going to croak. And to me, every day in my life, I'm speaking for nobody but me, my days are so precious. Every second for me is so precious. I live my life in the moment. So if I want to grab me a White Castle, I'm gonna grab me a White Castle. I just won't grab two.
Can I jump? Can I jump?
Man, Daphne, come on now.
Go ahead, Daphne.
Please.
Then I'll hop in there after her.
No,
Come on
listen.
now. Hey, Daphne, gonna beat me down, y'all. Let me. Come on.
No, listen, seriously, for real. Let me say this. What you're saying, Jay, is so many people's mindset, though. But the premise of what you're saying is the truth, that we're all different. We all have a different reason for doing what we're doing. Everybody is not doing it because they want to be extremely thin, or, everybody's not doing it because they want to get down to a certain size. Like he said, he wanted to do it, so that he could talk on the phone and walk at the same time. Because when you are heavier, you're out of breath, right. And you can't do both. You got to focus on one or the other. And so it really is true. That part is so very true. And that's why you have to be have a perception and be in a headspace that says, I want to be the very best me that I can be for what God is calling me to do. Right. So it may not require. And the thing is, I promise you, this is so true. Everything that we're saying, it's all parallel. It is making sure that we put those things in that make us healthier. If you want that stuff, have it in moderation. Right. Just don't go overboard, and realizing that it isn't good for us. But you know what? If I'm on a path of being the best me I can be, if I'm gonna have that serving of macaroni and cheese, I'm gonna be intentional and I'm gonna walk the block. I'm gonna do my 5 miles. You know what I'm saying? It's having the balance of both, like you said, Melva. And so it is so many people on here that, they're looking at it from that same perception, from that same perspective. People who are gonna be watching that are like, listen, I ain't on going to the gym every day. I ain't on no meal prep, Casey. God bless you. You look nice and strong and healthy. I'm not meal prepping. That's gonna be their mindset. So to put that nugget out there, which is, hey, one step at a time. Make up your mind that you want to be the very best that you can be for what you're called to do in this life. And what's going to happen is you're going to look up and you're going to drop the weight regardless, because you're changing things one thing at a time. You're making a decision. You walking these 3 miles to 5 miles, and you're wanting to be the best you for what God is calling you to do. And so that really was an important part. I'm all about a number one as well. But my sides, J. Ross, don't allow the number one to be my friend. And see, the problem is, men, y'all get to hide your roles. But our clothes, they don't make room for that, J. Ross, okay? So we got to wear these girdles that be about to kill us. These Spanx that about to choke us out while we walking.
Tell the saints about the Spanx. Listen, people don't know.
But let me ask y'all this. But let me ask you this.
We got to get to Kate. And we want to get to Casey as well. Let's not forget Casey. But go ahead.
Yes, I think there were several good points made in that last conversation. Jay Ross brings up a good point. His journey is his journey. My journey is my journey. And I think it's very important that when we're setting goals and we're really working on ourselves, we're doing it for us. We are focused on, what are my health needs, my physical health needs? What are my mental health needs? What are the things that I want to accomplish in my life? Because something that can deter us is when we're looking outward for internal things, right? We're comparing ourselves to someone else. Well, she looks like she's happy. She's doing this, that, and the other. So I'm going to do what she's doing. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to do what's right for you. And in order to do that, you have to take the time to get to know yourself, to get to figure out what makes you happy, to figure out, how do I love myself? How do I take care of myself? I'm not going to do what that other person is doing. I'm going to do what feels good to me. So, while we do have to practice moderation, and we do have to, try to create habits for ourselves, we also have to, do what works. Do what works for us. If I know that, like you said, if I know I'm gonna go get this White Castle, at least I'm gonna walk too. I have to do something to find that balance and to counterbalance.
That's all we saying, J. Ross. No, but that's good. we just don't.
No,
we
I
just
mean,
don't want to,
it's
because I think Joy will, if she could chime in too. I'm sure they get frustrated if everybody has the attitude of, I'm going to do what I want to do, because at the end of it, you show up at her feet, and then we want her to fix us, or everybody want to sue the hospital when they loved one, when it's the loved one that is. There has to be some level of responsibility taken
that's not what I'm
for
saying.
our health. I know that
It's,
ain't what you're
the
saying.
skinny
I'm
the
saying
skinny people go. I bet you Joy see a lot of skinny people with health problems.
she does. No, and I'm not talking about being overweight. I'm not saying that. We're just talking about coming from the aspect of being healthy, of eating healthy, having better habits
But
of,
what's
as far
healthy
as
though?
your meal
Melvin,
choices.
Melvin,
Joy,
what's healthy?
ask Joy,
Joy,
what is
yeah,
healthy?
Joy, what's healthy? I mean, what describe healthy?
Well, let's say I would be a terrible person to ask that. Number one, because I 100% agree with I can eat whatever I want to eat in moderation. So I don't follow a diet or do any of those things. I like you, Melva, I absolutely love macaroni and cheese, So I only have it 2 times a year usually, Thanksgiving and Christmas, but uh I eat whatever I want in moderation. However, I do exercise. Now, before I'm able, I'll never give up. There are certain things I will never give up. Bread, macaroni and cheese. Now,
We
are
lost
you
you
still
for a
there?
second. What was that?
Okay. I said I would put in a 10-hour day at the gym before I stop eating pizza, So that's just me. And I'll throw this in, that's just like just a little a small disclaimer, the COVID stuff that's out here now. I think what is important, um a very important thing for me to say in this regard is, um I know people may not think that COVID is real, and don't think that it's going to kill them and do all those things. The problem is that COVID may not kill you, but some of those people, a lot of those people are what's plugging up our healthcare systems, and people that are having problems such as stroke and heart attacks and things of those sorts. Those people aren't being able to be seen because of the COVID folks are plugging it up. So people are going to be dying from getting hit by a train, or are they going to die from the heart attacks, and because those interventions aren't being able to be taken quickly. So it may not be a COVID thing that kill you, but it may be something else that, had not our systems weren't plugged in with that, you probably would have made it. So that's my little bit to throw out in regards to COVID. But everybody can do their part to be more healthy, even if you want to eat in moderation and exercise. That could be the most simplest thing you can do, is get out and move your body for 30 minutes. There'll be a difference.
That was come on,
And
PSA.
that's
The
all I
more you
got.
know. Where's my thing? I need to get the graphic with the rainbow and the star, because I think you said something pivotal too when it comes to uh, COVID. It is not just people dying of COVID, but the hospitals are overwhelmed. Our healthcare workers are overwhelmed. And it's really because of, not with everybody, but, the disobedience of some. But I want to get back to what we were saying and these attitudes because I thought we would go get some help in the building. I think it's just the two of us. Oh, I'm sorry, Marielle, because Casey and Joy are going to help J. Ross continue to eat macaroni and cheese.
No,
But the
I'm
point
not. I'm
is,
not. I got to put my
thank you.
in. Don't worry.
Go ahead, Marielle. Thank you. Because what we
Yeah.
trying to say is
Yeah, and
there
that's the
is a way. Go
stereotype.
ahead.
And that's the truth. This is a stereotype that I get from majority African Americans, but I also continue my journey because I understand that most people on their deathbed never say, I wish I had, more money or would have ate another White Castle burger. What they do say is, I wish I would have took better care of my health, and I wish I would have spent more time with the people that I love. And so my mission in life is to really help people to live healthy. It's not about how you look, it's about how you feel inside of your body. And for me, I was young, and yes, I was thin and skinny, but in the inside, I was very fatigued. I had inflammation in my body. I have an autoimmune disease that was attacking my body. So for me, I wanted to live a healthy lifestyle so that I could thrive and not be tired and have a family. I had a husband that needed me. I wanted to be a mother. So I had things that I wanted to accomplish. And if I didn't take care of my health, then I was not going to be able to have anything. So for me, I started this journey on living a healthy lifestyle, meaning what I was intaking from a nutrient standpoint, food, not a diet, because this is a lifestyle that I wanted to commit to. Then exercising at where I could maintain. No, I'm not a gym rat. I don't love the gym, but I love what it did and how I felt when I got out of it. And I realized what it was doing for me, the benefits of releasing stress, right? Because we also live a stressful life. So it's components of a lifestyle that we want to live. Now, how you live it and how hard you want to go is totally up to you. But we all have to make some type of choices. And I don't condemn anybody that's, not doing what I'm doing. But because I'm trying to lead by example, being a lifestyle coach, I can't be a hypocrite. If you come to my house and you see me eating all this stuff, no, this is a lifestyle that I've been able to maintain. And by default, I didn't want to be on medication long term because it has so.
It's always right when it's getting good. That's a cliffhanger.
I know. I was like, oh no, because I really was
Hey,
into
hey,
what she
Melvin,
was
that's
saying.
because he was wrong.
No, she was
No.
not. No, she was not.
Well, I
That's
just
because she
want to
was preaching.
piggyback though on
Uh-huh.
what Marielle was just saying, and also what Joy was saying about stress, because mind and body is all connected, right? If we are not physically feeling good, we're not going to mentally feel good, and vice versa. So you do have to think about the lifestyle you're living, and you do have to form healthy habits, because stress is just going to add to anything that you're having already happening physically. Okay, Marielle's back. So I want you to finish because I was like really listening, and then I'll finish what I'm saying.
Oh no. So I gotta remember the last thing I was saying. So for me, I really wanted to thrive in life. Like I wanted to not just be existing because that's what I was doing, because I was just trying to survive day to day to feel better, doing the bare necessities. So for me, I had an ultimate goal. And like I think it was Miss Daphne said, by default, and me making those healthy choices, my body started to change. I was a college athlete and didn't have the body that I have at 36 years old now. You see what I'm saying? I didn't have abs. I didn't have all that because I wasn't eating. I was eating garbage. I was eating McDonald's, Burger King, all of that stuff, and working out thinking that I was going to have what I needed. Well, no. So that's where I had to educate myself even, about what I was putting in my body. And so that's what I try to do for others is, how do you take those steps? Because that's what I took. I took steps, and over time, talking about 12 years in the making, I've been able to maintain this lifestyle. So nothing happens overnight. Everything is a process. So but we do have to make some type of change because it's not just about us. For me, it's about my son that's looking up to his mom and seeing what I'm eating. Remember, we want to try to tell people what to do, but people watch our actions. So my son, I don't have to tell him to eat healthy because he sees his mom do it, and I educate him on why we do this. Can you eat some junk? Yes, but it's all in moderation. So it's, yes, you can have it, but you're not eating it every single day. And so he understands that because I'm educating him. I'm not just saying, oh, you can't have this. I think if we educate people about why you can't have so much of one thing, or why you can't just, do this or do that, then I think they'll have a better understanding. People think they got to go to the gym 5 days a week. That's not true. You can work out and go walk and get your heart rate up. You can do other things. It's not always going to the gym, you know? So I think that's where we have a misconception of what we think we have to do to be healthy. When no, like, yes, if you want to be bodybuilding and you want to do all of that, that takes a different discipline to get there. But we're talking about living an everyday lifestyle for the everyday person that has to work, is most likely in a relationship, has kids. And so how do you maintain that and balance it in life? And so that's what that's what I try to cater to the everyday person about, how to be healthy, not how to just lose weight, because anybody can lose weight, but it's all about maintaining it. So there's the lifestyle. So you don't keep putting it back on and jumping from here to there, starting and then stopping. Like, really, let's, you know, make sure that we commit to this and it's a lifestyle thing. So
Yes,
wait a minute. Marielle, girl, you are killing the game. I just pulled your profile picture up, girl. Listen. Let me
look,
listen.
I'm just a miracle of God. Look, let me just tell you, I'm just about God. God gave me the tools and the resources, and I said, you know what, God, if He allowed me to live, y'all don't know my story. So I almost
You
died.
better tell it, because these abs is speaking volumes, honey. Listen. Take your time, daughter. Tell the story.
Look, so, you know I said a little bit, but I didn't want to take over. But, just to give you a little background, I said I was a college athlete, thought I was healthy. What the norm thinks, you're skinny, you're healthy, which is not true. You're obese, you're not healthy. It does that you can throw that out the window. That's not what healthy is. It's not the size of our body, clearly. So, for me, I found myself in and out the hospital. And so eventually they diagnosed me with Crohn's disease, which is the autoimmune disease that attacks your digestive system. So for me, it was at the point where I was laying in a hospital bed, and I had a surgeon say that he could save my life. And at that point, I was desperate. He said, you have this surgery and your life will change forever. And I was like, I need it, because at that point I was desperate. I was ready to just give up on life. And so it got to the point where I was 79 pounds, extremely malnourished. But he was able to remove 1.5 feet of my small intestine. And after that, it happened to be at a good position where he could reconstruct it. So after that, that's when I vowed, because God saved my life, that I was going to save other people's life, because that's why he spared my life. Because it wasn't just about the pain and everything that I went through, but he was like, look, this is your body. We have to take care of it. And so in that process, I started to figure out what I needed to do to be able to live a healthy lifestyle. And I started educating myself first and foremost, because of what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I had to take the wheel. I had to have the mindset to fight, to say that regardless of what it looks like now, here's my end goal. And I'm not going to stop until I reach that end goal. Forget what the doctors say, because it's not about God. What the doctor says, God has the final say so. I don't take medication right now. I'm living, I'm thriving. I'm about to have my second child. Things that they said that I would not be able to do. They said I would have another surgery before the age of 30 because of how severe my Crohn's was. So let me tell you, we serve an awesome God. So when we say we need to take care of our body, it is our temple. We have no choice. So I'm going to speak this. So whether people want to hear it or not, I don't care, because there are people who want it, and whoever's supposed to receive it is going to receive it. And that's all my job is. It's okay. You might not be there yet, but I want the people who are ready to take their life to the next level, because you can't do anything without your health. Because when I was laying in that hospital bed, I was no good to nobody. So you have to take care of your health, because it is very, very, very important. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and I'm here to change lives. Okay, let's go.
Thank you. Thank you for that testimony.
Drop the mic right there. I'm getting ready to shout in this place.
Listen.
Honey, it was such a there is such an anointing on your testimony. Somebody needed to hear that today. You helped somebody. So I want to thank you for your transparency and your openness and your willingness to share. Listen, J. Ross got saved. Today. I'm sorry, but that was good. That was good. Thank you, Marielle. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry,
And
y'all. You were talking, Daphne. You were talking, Casey.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what Marielle was saying. You definitely have to live in your purpose. And sometimes we don't see or understand what our purpose is until an event like what she described happened. And, some of us come out of that defeated. You know, some people might come out of that feeling like, I don't want to keep going. I'm just going to listen to these doctors, and I am going to, I'm going to let the self-fulfilling prophecy happen. And that's where the mental health aspect comes in, because you have to take that lesson and be open to it and receive it and say, you know what, I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to change my habits. I'm going to do better, rather than, shying away and, blaming others or whatever. The fact, you have to face yourself, because every day, that's all you got. That's all we can control, is ourselves within each moment. So once, that purpose is revealed to you, it's up to you to live it and to do what you need to do to take care of your mental health, to take care of your physical health, to go on the journey that was meant for you. Because everyone's is different. And you have to not be afraid to put yourself out there and to take that leap and to do what you were meant to do. And if you are living a life of stress, if you are living a life that's unhealthy, when you're putting things into your body that are breaking you down, when you're telling yourself messages that are breaking you down, it's the same thing. Mind and body is all connected. So when we talk about what we're putting into ourselves, we have to pour good into ourselves, whether we're talking about food, whether we're talking about, what we consume on the television, what we look at on social media, what we listen to with the people that we surround ourselves with, the places that we go. You have to pour good into yourself and really be intentional about that and live in your purpose in that way. And if you don't know what your purpose is, continue, do what feels right. Do what feels right. Don't do what somebody else is telling you to do, or what our society tells you is right, because that's what we're trying to change, is the culture that we have, especially within the Black community, of what's healthy versus not healthy, or of even having that conversation, because that's another problem, is that the conversation is just not being had. We don't know what's healthy and what's not healthy because we don't talk about that. We have to make it a part of our lifestyle. We have to make it a part of what we do every single day, a part of what we teach our kids. Like Mario said, model that. My kids don't know what, I mean, now my 4-year-old does, but they don't eat chicken nuggets and kids meals. Kids meals is a meal. They, whatever I cook is what we cook. When we used to go to restaurants before COVID, they're not getting a kids meal. They're getting a side of vegetables and, a portion of whatever I'm eating, or a portion to share, because kids meals is junk. And I'm not going to teach my children that junk is what we consume on a regular basis. If I'm eating, a salad, or, a well-balanced meal, why would I just give my kid just macaroni and cheese or chicken nuggets? She needs something well-balanced as well. So it's all about those habits that we create. It's all about the culture that we create within our homes, but also within our communities, so that we are living, we're pouring good into ourselves and we're pouring good into the people around us.
You said, first of all, that was amazing. Yeah, I'm still full. I'm over here, and I keep looking at Daphne. I want to put in the chat, praise him, Daphne. Listen, I think we are still in, but that is such good information. You're right. It is. Barack Obama says something that I say all the time, and that's changing the culture is hard. Changing culture is hard. And I think you're saying something really important and pivotal, that it starts at home. What we see will be. If we're used to our parents making all kind of crazy stuff and foods, that's typically what we grow up making. We don't have any other point of reference. If we grow up in a house where our parents are, vegetarian or vegan, we tend to be more apprehensive to lead towards those things, rather that is something we officially adopt or not, because of what we're used to. So I think it's really important to start with your children, to start at home, start having these conversations, so that I remember Thomas going to school, my son, and he looked at his teacher like, I always have a colorful plate. That's what we called it. You have to have, your meat that we try to keep the palm of our hand. You need a vegetable when we would do a starch too, and then pray for us a little juice. That's supposed to represent the fruit. But I like to do 100% juice. I don't like, well, okay, stretch your hands my way. I normally only drink 100% juice, but Amy Miller introduced me to Milo's lemonade about 3 years ago in Mississippi. Since then, Saints, we have it at Schnucks and Walmart here. Ah, Baba Shay. That was utterance. That was real. I wasn't faking that. It is the best lemonade ever. You get it by the gallon. And it's really, you look at the ingredients, and the ingredients just say water, lemon, and sugar. That's it. No high fructose corn syrup, none of that. And it is amazing. But other than that, we try to do 100% juice. And you can't drink gobs of it, but my children do. So I'm not saying that I do the right thing, but what I try to do is put the right tools in here. Thomas is probably the only person I know addicted to Chex Mix, and he's not a big potato chip person. We try to get those things that have some type of nutritional value, but that starts at home, learning to read the labels. Stop eating ramen noodles, y'all. Come on, those. I'm touching and agreeing with those still that have that ramen noodle spirit on them. That's like 1,600 grams of sodium. Like that's double your daily average in one block of noodles. And then we add butter and hot sauce to it as if that's not cool. So I feel like the place to start, and we're going to start wrapping up because I know this is a fantastic conversation, but at some point, all good things must come to an end. But uh, we want to encourage you all to start it at home. If they say charity starts at home, judgment began in the house of God. It starts with us. It starts with our creating those habits for our children. Lead it, like Casey said, by example. And it is everything in moderation. Yes, we can do fast food every blue moon, but for the most part, they should see us cooking, chopping up fresh vegetables. I don't do anything in a can. Not even now. I do the soup in the container. Okay, chicken noodle soup is my guilty pleasure, but everything else, no can, no tuna in the can, no vegetables in the can. Let's get away from them old quick habits. You can get a bag of vegetables that you can steam for $1. $1 of broccoli, $1 for the green beans. So it starts at home. It starts with education. And it doesn't have to be formal, but this is the age of information. Go on Google, start following Marielle, start following Casey, because I am Marielle. Listen, I need a trainer. Come on, after the first of the year, I'm gonna call you. But we're gonna come to that. We're gonna find everyone, but honestly, it doesn't have to cost money to put in your mind that you want to be healthier. And so then to just start making better decisions, and it's not easy. It takes discipline, and it would probably be better. Don't listen to Jay Ross, but it would be better with an accountability partner. He'll go by himself. But for a lot of us, it's hard to do because if we count on ourselves to do it, we'll talk ourselves out of it. Find somebody that you can link up with that'll walk with you or that'll eat and change their eating habits with you. Bring it into the household. There's nothing harder than trying to watch what you eat, but your spouse is requesting fried chicken and the kids want spaghetti. Let's make it a household lifestyle change. We don't like fried food in our house. I don't like the smell of grease lingering. So everything is baked. That's a wonderful place to start. Okay, y'all. I'm done talking. Look, Jay Ross already ready to fight me, and we still going to lunch on Monday, Jay Ross. I'm gonna let you pick the place, but I'm eating in moderation. I'm telling you
No,
that
we
right
cool.
now. I'm telling you.
No, I'm saying we cool, but what kind of family y'all living in? Because my son 19, he eat what he want to eat. I don't have time to cook. You know what I'm saying? I can't sit around and cook whatever y'all talking about that's cooking. I try to get my son want chicken nuggets and pizza. What am I supposed to do? Kill him? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the stuff y'all saying just don't apply for
It
me.
does. Give them a healthier
You know,
option.
hey,
Do a healthier
Mariel,
pizza.
a healthier, that's cool. But Mariel, you get all props from me. I like, the bodybuilding and stuff, but I like a girl with some meat on. You know what I'm saying? She ain't gotta be fat, but I don't want no bodybuilding chick. You know what I'm saying? That's just not my life. So what y'all saying is cool for certain people, but it's not for everybody. That's not how I want to live.
Yeah.
That's not how most of the people want to live. I give y'all props though.
That's fair.
Ariel, you get all props. Casey, you get props. Daff, you my road dog. Joy,
That's fair.
my girl. But y'all might laugh at me, man. But I'm telling you, man, and to be honest with you, even though I'm not as healthy as y'all think I ought to be, I'm happy as a mug. I'm just saying though, I'm happy. I'm in my purpose. I'm in my passion. I'm doing exactly what I think I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't, my life is not stressful.
Yeah.
Seriously. My life is not stressful. I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I'm my own boss, own my own company. So it's all good. But I walk because it makes me feel better. I don't want a six pack. You know what I'm saying? That's not me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't want it. So, but I'm not taking nothing from what y'all saying, but don't look at me like I'm crazy because, y'all want to be this and be that. That's just not my life.
We're not looking at you like you're crazy. We're looking at you like we love you.
No, I know you love.
Listen, and then whatever shape you in, if you want to eat a pack of chicken wings, I'm gonna sit there
I couldn't think of the last time I had a pack of chicken wings. I don't.
I'm being funny.
Unlike you ladies, I'm not married, so hey, I eat on the road. I eat rolling. When I get home, I don't have time to cook. I have to work. You know what I'm saying? So I try to eat healthy. Like when Melvin, we go to lunch. I'm always trying to eat baked chicken or something like that. But man, I'm not finna sit up, man. Woo, y'all got me on the wrong panel.
I know you're on the right panel because you represent those who think like you. You do. So then, as we close, because we have to.
What's wrong with walking by yourself? What's wrong with walking by yourself? Why you got to have an accountability partner?
Nothing. We just had to make it easier. There's nothing wrong.
Well,
we're with you.
But it's easier for me to walk by myself.
That works for you. I think that's amazing.
Right, but so don't try to force an accountability partner on everybody is all I'm trying to say.
I'm not. And we won't.
Hey, lunch Monday, you treat.
You already
but
know.
Hey,
I got you.
I really got to go, y'all, for real. And for real, this phone been ringing off the hook. I'm in the studio and we got sessions coming up and I got to bounce. But I love y'all. Daphne, I love you, girl. And nice meeting you, Casey. Nice meeting Marielle. Joy, I'm gonna see you when I see you.
How can we find you, J. Ross, before you go? How can we find you?
Hey, you go to YouTube, it's James Ross. 8,000 videos, 14,800,000 viewers. Facebook is James Ross. Just type in James Ross and it's gonna be there. And hey, Beyonce ain't skinny. That's all I got to say. I'm out.
Look at you. Beyonce has a chef, and that's all I got to say. Bye, J. Ross. Bye.
Love all of y'all. Melvin, get me off this thing.
How you get off this? You got to leave us, J. Ross. You got to leave us. Okay, so everybody else has to leave us too. We are running out of time. You all, this has been a fantastic conversation. I love this type of dialogue. Even with, we have to have all opinions. So for anybody out there, we're not trying to force our opinion on you. We're just having an honest, organic conversation. We're trying to break down the stereotypes and trying to change the culture. But we understand that changing the culture is hard. Casey, tell us how to find you.
You can find me on Facebook at Casey Smart. You can also find my business page, Smart Counseling Solutions, and my website is smartcounselingsolutions.com. You can also check out Colorful Psycho Ed on Instagram and Facebook at Colorful Psycho Ed, and check out our courses at colorfulpsychoed.com.
Yay! Thank you again for joining us. It was my
Thank you for having me.
Listen, it's my pleasure. It was an honor. Thank you. Okay, Pastor Daphne Rice Bruce, where can we find you? Hold on, we gonna unmute you, child. We can't hear you.
There we go. You can find me. Facebook is Daphne Rice Bruce, or Daphne Rice Bruce Ministries. And you can also go to our church page, which is Victory Christian Outreach Church. And you can find me in all those places. Same thing on Instagram. Thank you so much, Melva. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. This has been an amazing conversation, just to hear the testimonies of you guys. And I'm just honored to be a part. Y'all are phenomenal.
Thank you, thank you. You are phenomenal. I listen. It was an honor. I already told you. You're doing big things in the body of Christ. You're doing big things around the city of St. Louis, and I salute you, my sister, my friend. I appreciate you.
Love
Joy,
it.
listen. You like don't have nobody looking for me. Y'all know I'm private, but I want to say that
You
if
can
you have
find
any
me nowhere.
questions, you can find me nowhere. If you have any questions, help questions, you want to throw them out of Joy, you can go on our consultinggroup.com page and our website on Facebook and ask Joy a question. And I'll make sure Joy gets the question and we'll try to answer you. Okay, last but not least, listen, the breakout star of the show. Come on, Marielle. Honey, your testimony alone has blessed me today. Tell us how to find you. What are you doing out here?
So you can find me on Facebook, Maria Landrum, same thing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook, Mario Landrum, on Instagram, Mario Landrum, or at Miss Let's Go, MRS. Let's Go with four O's. And let's stay connected. My website is www.lglifestyle.org. Again, it's LG, like Let's Go, lifestyle.org.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you all. Once again, I can't thank you enough. Thank you all for tuning in. This is our second to the last. Well, is that the right way to say it? Next month is our final town hall. We vowed to do a series where we brought you free education, information, and resources. We started this journey in September. We're ending it in January, where we will discuss finances. But thank you all again for coming with us on this journey. We have more to come this upcoming week with another Let's Talk Finance. If you want to join the FinOp Focus Group or come into the FinOp process, simply visit us at www.finopconsultinggroup.com. Listen, y'all, as Wendy Williams would say, we love you for watching, but thank y'all. Thank you all for joining me. Thank you for this wonderful conversation. I love each and every one of you dearly, even those that I just met. It's love at first sight. Until next time, everybody, see y'all soon. Later.